Implicit in the name, daily leveraged certificates, these don't just allow investors to go long or short U.S. underlying stocks during Asian trading hours. It is also on leverage up to 3x, yes?
That's right. That's right. So, this is a very important addition to our current range of daily leverage certificates. We first launched these products about 7 years ago on the Singapore Stock Exchange. So it allows investors to have a choice of their leverage, 3 times. Some of the single stocks and index goes to 5 times and 7 times. It tracks the index or Hong Kong stocks, Singapore stocks, allowing investors to have a choice of going long or short. Basically to add a bit of exposure to their portfolio, as well as using these instruments as a risk management tool.
So I'm going to ask you, the first batch of U.S. DLCs, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla as well. This is essentially the tip of the spear in the U.S., right, the Mag 7. My question to you is, they've been hot for so long. Why did it take so long for these DLCs on them to be introduced?
Sure. I mean, it's a great question. I think first thing is, we've been working closely with the exchange, and we've realized the demand from retail investors in the region. A lot of them are now trading U.S. stocks. They have U.S. stocks in their portfolio. And I think what's more importantly is recent years we've seen the liquidity of these U.S. stocks during the Asian time zones are becoming more and more significant. So that as a product issuer, right, we need some sort of liquidity in the time zone to allow us to offer good liquidity on these products, which are key for investors when they trade.
The Magnificent Seven, isn't it? Sure. Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Wow. So you've really got to know what you're doing because you're swimming with sharks here, arguably. Can you talk to us, Keith, about what could go wrong? We've seen volatility spikes, and we could see another one, as you mentioned, with the earnings season, the US election coming up. Talk to us about the airbag. Talk to us about the fail-safe and the circuit breaker to mitigate, if you will, worst-case scenarios.
Sure. So like any leverage products, there's always an airbag or what we call a daily restriking mechanism. So that's basically if you buy a long, if the stock goes against you, right, with 3 times leverage. Basically, in theory, you can imagine if the stock's down, let's say 30%, 33%, it can go to 0, right? With these DLCs with the 3 times leverage, there's an intraday restriking mechanism when the stock's down 20% from previous close, that it will trigger this intraday restrike. You can see this as a kind of a force cut loss scenario, if you like. But sure, I mean, volatility is going to be there in the next couple of weeks. With the 3 times leverage, we look at the daily return of the underlying. Of course, investors need to be aware, the best way to control risk is really to control the amount of capital in your portfolio that you put into these leverage instruments, right? That's how you are able to control your risk.